Ahoy, guys. Welcome to episode 42 of the Drunken Ship Podcast. Alongside me, we have Puerto Rican Reggie Watts.
Yo.
BryanBrowny. What's your Twitch? BryanBrowny, right? Still?
BryanBrowny.
So, okay, what's your Twitter?
At underscore Bryan. No, not underscore. Bryan or Chia. Just Bryan or Chia.
Bryan or Chia, okay.
Yep.
And alongside of him, we have the prettiest pony in the Sony pony stable.
I want to say pony, I think, for a second. I'm dressed as the PS5 today.
You are dressed. You got the whole PS5 fit. I like it.
The PlayStation hit.
Bro, damn. I'm not kidding. Yeah, that's your new tag bit. You're definitely the prettiest Sony pony.
The prettiest Sony. I like that. The prettiest Sony pony.
Hey, how do you get the most stylish headphones that I've ever seen anyone wear?
These are Beats. These are custom foam things I just brought from Amazon. They were originally black, but they got tore off. I got the white ones.
Oh, fuck.
I go. They got this match
better.
color to match my PS5.
Yeah, they look way better in white.
Really?
Yeah, they look fantastic.
What are you shaking your head for? I saw that.
Yeah, you had to buy it to match your PS5.
Yeah, I got a flex,
Yeah.
Black on.
I'm going to walk around looking like Kaiba.
Yeah, Kaiju.
I don't think... Oh, I didn't introduce myself. And I'm your host, the one who's manning CyberCalamity. But you already know that. You already know. If you're 42 episodes in deep, you already know who I am.
And if this is your first time watching another episode.
Last week, I calculated my phone while it's working. I'd be so bored. So I asked, hey Siri, when is 60 weeks, hypothetically? And she says April next year. So that's 60 episodes from 40 where we were originally. So 100 episode would be next year.
Next year in April?
April 2022.
Oh, fuck yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think that might be our... April 10th is our anniversary date, by the way.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I was thinking what we could do.
That's awesome.
Well, for the rebrand. I don't know when
rebrand.
I don't know the actual date. It's like somewhere like 2016.
This month. Yeah, it's this month something.
Yeah, but that's the rebrand. That's not for the like actual date that we started Drunken Ship back in.
No, that's all I'm referring to. The original date. The rebrand's like in April-ish, I think.
When is... Wait, what month is it?
It's March.
Oh, I was like, what
Drunken,
year? What year is it?
You doing okay, bud?
No, apparently not.
Yeah, last week I thought it was 2022 for some reason. I don't know why.
You just skip over
2021.
Yeah, it's right under the leg.
Dude, 2021 started like dangerously close to like being as shitty as it was before.
We started March 22nd, 2016. I was close.
March 22nd, 2016. Damn. Yeah, that is pretty close. Look at Tay with the big brain.
Big brain. I just remember saying it.
Look at the big brain on Tay.
Look at the big brain on Tay. You got a massive...
How you guys been? What have you guys been up to? I missed like 2 weeks of editing or podcast.
Was it 2 weeks?
I think so, just because I've been dealing with like trying to get a car and like the DMV, and it has been a nightmare to deal with all that situation. I don't know if I told you guys, but like the last time that I was on the podcast, I told you guys that I went to the DMV and it didn't work, and did I tell you guys that I got kicked out of the DMV?
No.
No.
Like okay, so I got security. Okay. This doesn't make me look good, first of all. I am definitely the asshole in this story. But I went to the DMV in Lancaster, South Carolina. And from the moment I walked in there, this like Paula Deen looking lady, like you can just tell a brown man was not welcome. It was a whole situation. She was being rude to me from the beginning.
Just get butter all over your license.
And I go to the counter, and there's this other lady, and she, from the get-go, she's fighting me because she doesn't want to put my 2 last names in my license. So she's like, yeah, we need one of them to be the middle name. We just have to put it how it's written in the birth certificate. And I'm like, lady, in the birth certificate, it's 2 last names. Like, put it as 2 last names. That's all I miss. So already I'm like in a bad mood. I'm frustrated with this lady. And then they have me do my eye test to check out my eyesight because I'm switching the license. And what'd you say?
Pause for a second. Your eye.
Yeah. Dude, in wintertime, like the skin around my eyes and my hands are like crack. It's like awful.
It's like red.
It cracks, it gets irritated. I've been moisturizing, nothing works. I look like I got done and I just got out of
Zuko.
Maybe next time you won't interrupt a meeting, Bryan.
But sorry to cut you off what you're saying.
No, you're good. And so I'm struggling with this lady, trying to communicate to her that like I'm Puerto Rican, I have 2 last names. Like just fucking put 2 last names in there. she's fighting me, and I go like, lady, it's gonna put 2 last names in there. Like there's no, if you do it any other way, it's gonna fuck me up. Like I just need 2 last names. And she goes like, well, let me talk to my supervisor. Supervisor comes in, and immediately, I mean, she talks to him for like 6 minutes. I'm there waiting for like a little while, and she comes back out. Supervisor comes back out and goes like, hey, what's the deal? And I'm just like, I have 2 last names, and one of them can't be a middle name, so they're both of them are last names. And I need you to write that in there. And he just went like, okay, 2 last names. So already I'm mad at this lady because she's made a big deal out of something that doesn't need to be a big deal. The supervisor fixed it in like 3 minutes. He just walked in. All right, fuck it. 2 last names. Just write it in there. They have me do the eye test, the eye exam. And my left eye is kind of fucked. My right eye is like way better. And I missed the eye exam by 1 letter. Just like by 1 fucking letter.
I hate that.
And it's the fucking worst.
Yeah.
And she's looking at me, and I go like, I give her a couple of tries, and she goes, I can't give you the license if you don't get that in 4 tries. And I look up from the eye thing, and I just go like, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like, I'm not gonna be able to give you the last letter.
I hate that.
And so
it's actually a trick question. There is no letter there.
Yeah, it's just a random
Your mind
number.
does do that. You think you see something, but it's not there.
Right now, I think it was an S. I have thought about this fucking signage for the last like 3 weeks. I shit you not. I have been trying to figure out. I gave her like 6 letters out of the alphabet. Like, I fucking tried.
Was it a 5?
And no, I think it was an S. I think it was an S. But I couldn't think of it at the time. She looks at me and is like, after I said that, like, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm not gonna give you that last letter. And she goes, well, I can't give you your license. And so that is fine. That interaction would have been fine. But immediately after she said that, the Paula Deen looking lady came in from God knows where, what corner of the DMV she was at, and walks up to me and says, sir, we can't give you your license, so you need to leave. And I'm like, listen, I drove here for 40 minutes. Like, can we at least try to work something out? And she's like, sir, if you can't do the letter, then we can't get you your license. You need to leave. And I was like, listen, I drove here. Say that again?
How many letters was it? You missed 1? Come on, guys.
I missed 1 letter. And
they freaking out like that?
And they were like, yeah, you can't get your license. So I drove 40 minutes, and this is like after 2 weeks of struggling to like trying to get my license anywhere else. Like, I was just not having luck getting my license done. And then and then I said, Letty, I drove here for 40 goddamn minutes. Like, can you at least listen to me? And then she got mad and then grabbed all of my paperwork from the lady's counter and like try to shove them into my hands to get me to leave. And she said, sir, you need to leave right now. I'm gonna call highway security because you definitely need some assistance. She threatened to call fucking the cops that were like right next door. So I lose my shit and I grabbed all of the paperwork out of her hands and I go like, well, you can all go fuck yourselves. And I leave the DMV and I like slammed the door out of the DMV, fucking pissed. On my way, halfway out the DMV, like halfway through the door, after I've told them to go fuck themselves.
Don't tell me to go back in.
Yeah, don't tell me. Yeah.
No. I didn't go back in. After I told them to go fuck themselves, she tried to stop me, and I yelled something along the lines like, fuck you, whatever. And I like slammed my way out of the DMV, looking like the biggest asshole ever. And I almost like did the thing. A lady at the front door was like, you almost hit me. And I just went like, fucking, I'm sorry. And I'm walking out. Paula Deen chases after me. And it's like, sir, I'm going to call highway security because you clearly need some assistance. To which I respond, I don't need a goddamn thing from you right now. She calls the cop that's like just stood in the parking lot. Just like sitting in his car, doing nothing, taking government money and breathing, I guess. And so it's like, sir, this customer is irate because he can't get a license. I need you to speak with him. And then he calls out to me from the car.
Zero effort, like, hey.
Yeah. He literally just goes like, hey, sir. Bottle, sir. And I turn around and I said, like, I'm fucking leaving. And then he just lets me leave.
Yeah, you didn't do anything.
What's he gonna do?
What is he gonna do?
It's in the car. He's like, the fuck am I gonna do? He's going. I was like, hey, sir. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm leaving. I'm like,
Like,
All right, go.
I fixed the problem. I was the problem. I am removing the problem from your institution. I'm gone. So that was like my racist day at the fucking Lancaster, South Carolina fucking DMV.
Ooh,
Trying to get my South Carolina license.
Don't go back to that one.
No, absolutely not. In fact, I'm sure that if I go back to that one, there's going to be like a CCTV picture of me that says, "Don't let this brown man in." It's like, I have.
But they're gonna write it. They're gonna write it with that, and the font, the same letter you couldn't read, so you don't know what it says.
I can't read it.
What the fuck?
It's a certain
I walk in
size.
and get mad again. So that's how I got Highway Security called on me at the DMV. I have bad experiences at the DMV, and it mostly relates to like just how shitty like white people talk to people that are not white. Like that is my entire experience at any like southern DMV. Yes, like, oh, you're not white? I am going to have the patience of a goldfish. It's fucking insane. So I wish I could say that was the only time that I've been threatened to get the cops called on me at a government institution, but it has not.
What a rebel, dude.
No, I think I'm just an asshole. Like at the core, when it comes to dealing with shit that I need and people being weird about it, I think I just turn into like this just massive cock. That just
you're already stressed out and they already bugging you. Like, leave me alone. Just let me get my license. One letter though. Bad. Come on, guys.
It was one letter, and then to top it off, I go to the ophthalmologist today. The optometrist today. I go to the optometrist today. I get my eye exam. I tell him the whole situation. Right. This fucking lady at the optometrist told me they kicked you out of the DMV for one letter. Your eyesight's fine.
Yeah.
So my eyesight was fine. And I got to deal with like a racist fucking Paula Dean at the DMV that wouldn't let me get my license. So now I didn't have a car for 2 more weeks because of this one little white bitch that wouldn't let me get my license.
I love how you said racist Paula Dean, but Paula Dean is confirmed to be racist.
That's exactly.
Hey, just say Paula Dean then.
I can just say Paula Dean. So, and I'm sorry. I apologize for any misogynistic language. I'm just very mad at it, and she deserves it. But it was like the worst experience. February has been a goddamn shit show for me to try to get my license figured out.
Yeah, this last month was.
So what? So you had to get a new license because of for what?
What'd you say?
You had to get a new license for what?
So my car got totaled in November, and I want to buy a car, but I want to buy a car and register it in South Carolina because in the long run it's cheaper because you don't have to pay for inspections and like it's a little bit cheaper to do the whole thing. And I fucking live in South Carolina. I should have a South Carolina license. But I needed the South Carolina license to buy the car, and in order to get the car, I needed to get the eye test so I could get the South Carolina license. Thanks to Paula fucking Dean. So.
Yeah, I need to get my license also switched over. I have Virginia one.
Yeah, Virginia tax for the past 7 years.
Really should have them changed, honestly. Which I'm going to have to buy a new car soon because I've noticed that my car started smoking.
You can oil in it? What's left in the oil change?
There's like a small leak with the oil in it. My car is fine, but there's like a small leak. It's just like leaking oil a little bit. And I notice when I get to work sometimes it's like smoking. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, that's because the oil that's leaking is hitting your heat element in the engine.
And it's just,
just fucking patch it up.
No, if his engine blows, he's done. Gotta get a new car in general.
Well, my car it's not leaking a lot of oil. I keep checking my oil and it's full.
Is the oil leaking into the engine or is the oil leaking outside into
it's just
the
leaking.
mechanics?
It's leaking onto the engine block and it's just heating it up. That's why there's smoke coming out of it.
That's what fucking happened to my Suzuki, man. My Suzuki exploded because oil got inside the engine block.
These Suzukis are great on gas. Was yours great on gas?
They're yeah, it was great. Yeah. I love that car. It just the engine just exploded on me.
Yeah,
not literally exploded. It's like I was driving it and then it wouldn't turn on. And then I turned it on one time and it was just like this. And then it just didn't have a car.
Dude, I hate car problems.
They're the worst.
The worst.
Car problems are the thing that would make me turn into like the biggest asshole ever just to deal with. I fucking hate dealing with car problems.
Me too. When I had a car, like freaking alternator was messing up. Like, every morning I got to jump it because it didn't. It was like the battery or something didn't click with it. It worked.
It wouldn't charge your battery.
Yeah. Like,
that fucking sucks. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember my alignment was off on my car. I don't know if you guys ever remember my car. My steering wheel would do this. It would shimmy. And I just ignored it for the longest part. And it was like that for like 6 months. And it just slowly got worse and worse. And eventually, I think I got a flat or something. And I'm like, all right, when I go into I got a nail on my tire, and I'm like, well, once I'm there, let me just get my tire fixed, and then my alignment fixed. And I looked at my tire, or no, I didn't have a nail on my tire. I just looked at my tire one day, and I could see the wires in the tire. It had rubbed my tires so raw that it was like doing this all the time that the wires inside of it was getting exposed, which was like my tire was about to explode.
Did you get a new fucking car?
No, I just got a new tire. What do you mean?
No. Well, your car's doing the fucking shimmy.
I got my yeah. It's just the alignment. The alignment on my wheels were off. Copy. So I went in, got my alignment fixed, and I got a new tire.
Dude, car problems are the worst. They will literally make me homicidal.
Yeah. Dude, I've gotten so many flats here. I've ran over a bolt. Like I've had so many flats within the last year.
Really?
Yeah, I just keep running over fucking nails.
Wait,
like 3.
You heard a cat? Or was it just me?
That was just you might have heard a cat.
Oh, okay.
Well, possibly. Bryan does have.
Okay.
I do have a nosy fucking cat.
And then he has like 4,500 of them on his shirt there.
Goddamn right.
But yeah, I ran over a bolt. And I mean, like it was like the tire was done. There was no patching it. It was just the wheel was done. The bolt was like this long, and then it was like that thick.
I'm sorry for laughing. I just imagine you so mad that day.
I didn't notice it, so I can tell you exactly how it happened too. So I was going to Chick-fil-A. It was like 10 o'clock at night. And then there's like the way I have to go to Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A's right next to my house, but I have to make a left. So I have to go up to this red light and then turn left. And in this like little medium turning lane, which you guys probably know what I'm talking. Well, Tay knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
In this little medium lane, I get up in the turning lane, and I just feel like a thump, and I'm like, and for a brief second, I knew there was something bad. I was like, that was probably my tire. That was probably.
You turned the volume down for the whole time.
Yeah, I took my headphones out. By the way, my car radio doesn't work. I've not had a car radio in my cars.
Wait, is this the same car that you have right now?
The car, old boy.
Yeah, it is.
The car been some adventures.
That car is served us all through college.
Dude, you gotta get that car like a Viking funeral when you get rid of it.
Oh man, dude, like burning on fire and living on the river.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done everything in that car, man. I've hit a deer in that car.
I remember
that car never going away.
I remember you hitting the fucking deer.
Dude, Kia Optima smacks. Like those things just keep going.
Dude's on the last legs.
Shout out to Kia.
Like,
give us a sponsorship.
I think it's got like 160,000 miles on it. It's still going. I mean, that's my first car. That's still my first car too.
God damn.
But I felt this stomp, and I was like, shit. And then I went to Chick-fil-A, drove back home, parked it.
I like that you still went to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, well,
I like that you said, even though that sounded expensive, and I can feel my car fucking driving on the rim of this tire, I'm gonna get myself a chicken deluxe.
Well, it wasn't on the rim yet. So it got lodged in there, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. I was like, I think I just ran over something. So I'm like, it was probably nothing. It was probably just like, because there's like a lot of debris in that little medium area. Because there's car wrecks happen there and stuff. So I was like, I was like, okay. Well, my tire light isn't on yet, so it's probably nothing that bad. And I get up the next morning and I have to be at work at like 6 a.m. So it's dark out. It's like kind of rainy. So I don't really I'm not really checking it. So I start driving my car and I'm like halfway down the highway and then my tire light comes on and I immediately thought, I was like, shit, there's I did run over something in my car. And I'm like, oh, it must be a nail or something. So I park my car at work and then I open my door and I can hear the air coming out of it. It's going.
That would make me so mad. I wouldn't want to go and work.
Yeah,
I'd be so heated.
Well, I was like, what the fuck did I even do? And I can just see my car getting lower, and then the tire was like this flat.
Oh,
it was like doing that. It was dead flat, and I was like, it's so early in the morning. I'm like, what am I gonna do? And I'm like, I just went to work, and I was like,
did you drive on that?
I have a not a spare, but it's like a little tire. Wheel. Yeah, a little wheel I can get to a car dealership, and so I went to work, told some people I work with what happened. And they like they helped me change my tire and everything when we got done.
That's nice of them.
And then I just drove it onto the discount tire place, and they gave me a new one.
Like $50, depends on your size.
Yeah, but like I got there as soon as I was like the last car they worked on too.
Damn, so like almost like closing time.
Yeah, it was like literally like closing. So like
6 o'clock.
It was like 4 o'clock or something when I got there, and they closed at like 5. And they were like, yeah, just leave your car here and then come back at like 6. So I had my girlfriend pick me up, and then we just did fuck all, and then we came back, and it was like 6 o'clock, and everyone had left. My car was just sitting out in the parking lot. I'm like, sweet.
Did you just took it?
Yeah.
Did you pay them for it?
Yeah, I paid them, and, and then I came back. Dude. But when I hit another tire, when I ran over another nail, it was the same tire too. Same tire. They just fixed it for free, which was pretty baller.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
This is a patch, though.
That reminds me, and this is the last story before we move on to what we're talking about, but that reminds me one time. I was on my way to a rally to do a shoot for a wine shop, and I was still rocking my Suzuki. And I was on my way to a rally, and I had all of my like camera equipment in the trunk of my car, and I am like maybe like 45 minutes away from where I live on the way there. Fucking got a flat tire in the middle of like the heavy ass like just highway. I
have a fear of that.
Yeah, it is the fucking worst. I had to pull up. I saw like a nearby Home Depot. I parked into Home Depot, and I'm dressed in like a dress shirt because I want to look nice for this wine people because they're like the snooty sort of white people. Not white wine people.
White
wine? Are you saying wine? Like drinking?
Yeah, wine, like drinking wine. It was a wine company up in Raleigh called Unwine at White or whatever the fuck they were called. And I am in dress pants wearing this like gray dress shirt in the middle of like a Home Depot parking lot. The floor is covered in glass for some reason. I've never seen a safe parking floor in Home Depot. It's always covered in something sharp, and it's covered in fucking glass. And I'm on my knees changing my fucking tire.
Just bloody knees, just trying to change it like fucking Home Depot. Sweating. Sharp ass glass.
It's the middle of hot ass summer too, so it's like hot as shit.
You're sweating, bloody dude.
Took off the dress shirt, and now I'm in an undershirt that has clear, like visible pit stains, and like the nuts in my car had never been changed before. They were just there from the first time the tire was put on there, and it
was hard to get off.
It was like impossible. I had to put the fucking thing. And like I was spinning and it didn't work. I have to like fucking like curb stomp it like American History X just to get it to fucking move. And I am struggling with this. And off in the distance, I see some like dude and like just some redneck ass man in a pickup truck. And he yells at me from the parking lot. Yo, doing all right? I'm not doing all right.
That's such a country way to check. To like, you need some help? I was like, you doing all right over there?
He didn't offer help. He just wanted to see what the fuck was happening. Because as soon as I said, I'm just changing a tire, this man just goes like, and just keeps watching me. Just keeps watching me change the tire. Just does nothing from that point forward. And I'm looking at him from the corner of my eye, and he's just like literally against his truck, just fucking watching me.
Dude, tell
like
me
a black guy. It's an old black guy.
I think so. I don't. That sounds like him. Yeah. He was like far in the distance. I could gather no ethnic information from this man. He was he was big. That's all I could tell you. He was big.
The way you describe him made him sounds right. I don't know why. That sounds. I can see that.
He just fucking like just staring at me. Curb
stomping.
Told him
you should have told him you need help. I think that's what he was asking.
That's not what he asked. What he asked is if I was doing all right.
I mean, if you see someone struggling for like a good 5-10 minutes, you might as well go over there and help them instead of just sitting there.
Yeah, just watching me.
You guys weird.
So after I curb stomp all 4 of my screws, I like fucking take out the tire and I slam it into my fucking trunk. And I put in the spare one. I do the whole fucking bit. And then now I'm pissed off. I'm talking on the phone. I'm calling my boss and I'm like, yeah, I got stuck with a spare tire with a flat tire. I just changed it. I'm on my way. I'm gonna be late. And he goes like, all right, sure. I get in my car. I look to leave. The guy is still there. He's still watching me. And I drive by him because that's where the exit was. He waved at me. He fucking said bye to me on the way out.
He set you up, Bryan. He knew.
What the fuck was that guy? You know?
He knew. He's from the future. He came back to the past to set you up.
So fuck car problems. They're the worst. They're the fucking worst.
So Bryan,
and fuck that guy. Yeah?
What's the topic this week?
We are talking about kaijus.
Dun dun dun.
But it's up to give it a copyright.
That's why I'm saying it's so upbeat.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's why you gave it to the white guy here. So we can't get copyright on it. Guys, we're talking about kaijus.
Fucking kaijus.
Do you know what kaiju stands for? Or what
Strange
that
monster.
stands for? It means
Strange
monsters. Strange monsters.
Does it mean monsters or does it just means big ass monsters?
I think it's Dai Kaiju is strange monsters. I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think kaiju just means monster, creature.
So why the fuck does it mean giant monster? Monsters can be tiny.
It doesn't really refer to giant monster. It's just normally in typical sense it is giant monsters.
That's weird.
You know what's funny?
So. Hang on,
people didn't start saying kaiju to Pacific Rim.
Isn't Pacific Rim a kaiju?
They call them kaiju in that movie, but before Pacific Rim's
gotcha.
a thing, everyone would just call them monsters. But since then, everyone calls them.
That's fucking interesting.
Yeah.
So we have Godzilla vs. Kong coming out like at the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 3 weeks until release.
Oh no, it does refer to giant monster.
Yeah, giant monster.
Google.
That's what I thought. Because calling them monster seems weird. But obviously Godzilla vs. Kong comes out at the end of the month. And I know fuck all about Godzilla. And I know that you two are huge fans.
It means strange beast.
Yeah, strange beast. That was close.
Strange beast, yeah.
That makes sense. There we go. Got some.
Oh, what the fuck am I doing? Hang on. I'll be right back. Yeah,
you good?
Guys, keep going.
What? What happened?
What the fuck is he on? I don't know. He's probably gonna bring out a Godzilla action figure and like.
Yeah, I thought the exact same thing too. So.
Just like jerk off about it. So we're talking kaiju. I know nothing about kaijus, and with Godzilla vs. Kong coming out, I find myself really interested because in our Discord community, there's an entire chat called Monarch that is dedicated to kaijus and Godzilla, and I feel very out of place, not knowing I get notifications for that chat every goddamn day, and I have no idea what any of it means. So I want to know. We're talking broadly about kaijus. I've seen exactly one Godzilla movie. And I haven't even seen Pacific fucking Rim. It's a broad discussion. There we go. Team Godzilla.
Yeah, I forgot to wear the shirt on the
funny.
Podcast. If you guys are just listening to the podcast, I am wearing. I just came back with a Team Godzilla shirt on.
Team Godzilla. Even as a non-kaiju fan, I will say that anybody that is Team Kong is fucking dumb. If you're Tate's getting his own shirt. If you're rooting for the monkey in this one, that's on you. That's bad.
It's literally for memes, dude. They just wanted to return to monkey. Those savages.
But yeah,
look, we're a very biased podcast because it's Godzilla all day on this channel.
You're absolutely right. That's what you're talking about.
Did we really show it out for this one?
Yeah.
I told myself this morning when I was going to work, I was like, don't forget to put on your shirt for the podcast. I totally forgot.
Man, how great would it be if I walked out of frame right now and came back with the exact same shirt?
Dude, I would have ordered. Hey, what's your address? I'll order you one.
I was saving this for the last week to show on Twitter, but here you guys go.
That's fucking fire. So with Godzilla coming out, I just kind of want to have like a broad discussion about the kaiju genre. Like what makes it interesting, what makes it great, why do you people fucking like it so much? Why is everybody being so weird about a giant monkey and a giant lizard? I have no context for any of this shit. So just talk to me about kaijus. Let's just have a brief conversation about what the fuck a kaiju movie is.
So you want to like start for where we like it or something?
Yeah. Like just when Godzilla. What attracted you to Godzilla in the first place to begin with? Like, what the fuck is it?
Me and Tay are like almost clones of each other, so you're gonna get a lot of the same answers.
That's all right.
I guess
which I think most people have started. I mean, they start off watching Godzilla films from just being a child and finding VHSs of them.
Yeah, for me, I was gonna make a video about this, but I told Bryan just tag along to the podcast about it.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, my dad showed me Godzilla movies, and I loved them a lot. I was about 3 or 4ish when I watched these movies.
Oh, little baby Tay watching Godzilla just wreck shit.
Yeah, I loved the way he looked, the way he roared, the way he fights. Everything about Godzilla was cool. And like as a kid watching those movies, like Bryan, there was nothing cooler than a Godzilla movie as a kid. And it's funny, like a month ago, my dad was talking about because he's a Godzilla fan as well, and he was talking about Godzilla vs. Kong. And I was telling him like, you do realize I've been watching these movies for like 21 years now. Yeah, and they're still making Godzilla movies, and not once have I gotten bored with this series.
So what? What makes it? Why has it survived so fucking long? Why? Because from my perspective, I never got introduced to them as a kid. I never knew anything about him. It's just a giant fucking lizard.
Yeah, like, you're right. There's a lot of things. So it brought us like as a kid, clearly we watch these for giant monsters fighting each other.
Right.
But as you get older, you understand more of the stories going on around it, or some films at least. Because there are essentially monsters fighting each other.
Right.
But there's also some undertone themes to the movies. Like as when 2014 was coming out, that's the first Legendary verse movie, Monsterverse movie. So I like rewatched all these films leading up to 2014, and like I'm 17 at the time, so I got a better understanding of movies and stuff, story, whatever. So like most of these movies have like undertones. Like 1954, the original is like the nuclear allegory of nuclear weapons, or Godzilla vs. Biollante is like man versus nature or something.
Right. Playing
God, trying to create his own. The story is about his daughter died, so he used humans, plants, and Godzilla cells to make a monster. Okay. In Biollante. In the 70s, they did
Wait. Run that by me one more time. His daughter died. His daughter died.
Yes.
And he used what to make what?
Her cells.
Right, so he made her into fertilizer, and then
and Godzilla cells.
He made a Godzilla out of his daughter's cells
with rose DNA too as well. Yeah. It's what like before Shin Godzilla happened, that was Japan's favorite Godzilla movie at the time.
Fuck. And my man thinking
the 70s they had Godzilla vs. Hedorah, which is about pollution. Pollution's bad. And yeah, just some themes. Some of it are essentially like just straight on monsters fighting.
I think what's made this series last for so long is it is an ever evolving series. There's different eras for different types of movies. Mm-hmm. So you get kid loving Godzilla, you get action Godzilla, you get more in-depth Godzilla, you get the American movies.
You get a little bit of like a horror element attached to Godzilla.
Yeah, so it's every 10 years it's like changing the genre of it.
Okay. What movies has like Godzilla like inspired? You know, because clearly we got shit like Pacific Rim. We got shit like what's the found footage one, Cloverfield? Mm-hmm. Shit like that. Is that like, would those movies have the same impact had Godzilla not had the impact that it has in cinema? Like, do you think that Godzilla? I think it would
like Godzilla is like the granddaddy of most of these, and then like that aspiring into like what, like Ultraman?
No, we got to go down the entire line because like
we got to go down the timeline. I was just looking at it. So like they do go throughout the genres and stuff like that, but is that sort of related to like whatever point in history the culture that made that film was like kind of like going through? Like
there's some link between it, but it's really minimal though. But like, so you gotta go down in history, like so Godzilla's the creation was inspired from King Kong. And before Godzilla came, it was Creature of the Thousand Phantoms, if it was called. You know that movie? I forgot what's the name of it. I haven't watched it.
Creatures from 10,000 Phantoms.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that was originally what Godzilla's plot was going to be, and the guy, people was like, this is kind of a ripoff. So the guy, he wanted something different. So he also wanted to make a war movie as well. But since I was during a time where nuclear weapons are extremely taboo and not talked about.
Yeah, I mean, that's like just post World War II, right?
Yeah, post World War II trauma and all of that. So I remember I was watching like a historic video about this, and one of the creators was like on a plane, just he looked outside in the ocean, like thought of a giant monster, and that's where Godzilla came from. So they couldn't replicate a bomb, so they just like make a giant monster as the bomb, and his powers and also came all from that, and just went from there. But
what
so
about
Godzilla
it better else shows like destruction than a bomb than like a giant creature that wreaks havoc through, old Japan.
And his destruction replicates an atomic bomb. You see those scenes in the movies, like which they don't really do no more, which I would love to see. I'm surprised Shin Godzilla didn't do it, but there was a scene in 1954 where after Godzilla's attack, there's people in the hospital with radiation poisoning.
Oh wow,
dying, and you don't see that no more. And I know it's funny because when I was there's a YouTube channel that does the history of Godzilla movies. I forgot his name, but he keep hearing my feed, so I finally gave him a watch. But he Ishiro Honda, that's Godzilla's creator, he kind of hated the shift Godzilla went through to the 70s. It went from this serious film to this campy, kiddish series.
See, that's the Godzilla that I know. That's the Godzilla that I'm familiar with. It's like the campy, cartoon Godzilla, kind of like bad B movie Godzilla.
Yeah. That's the Godzilla people think of pop culture. Like, that's what Godzilla people think of when they think of Godzilla. Those B movies, pop culture like movies, and you see like that. And in the 80s, they decided to like, let's start over, make it serious again, make a direct sequel to 1954. That's Godzilla 1984. And that's when it got serious again. But also, that's when it started the more versus series, the Heisei series.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is when we start seeing like Godzilla versus Mothra and Godzilla versus like whatever Ghidorah.
King Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla, Space Godzilla, Biollante. And after that, 1998 Godzilla film came out. That's the the first American Godzilla movie, the one people don't like.
Right.
With Matthew Broderick. So that movie was... So when they pitched that Godzilla design to Toho, they didn't say nothing.
They just didn't respond? They just ghosted?
No. Roland, his name? What's the guy's name? The disaster film director. He did Independence Day. God, that's not his name.
Let me
Emmerich or something. I forgot his name, but he said we're either doing this or not doing this. He was serious about this movie, and he did not know Godzilla's material at all previously. He did not care. He just wanted because of the name alone. It was obvious. So he showed a pitch. Yeah, when he showed a pitch to Toho, they didn't say anything.
Roland Emmerich.
But they went along with it. Yeah, Roland Emmerich. Yeah, he very arrogant.
Well, they
guy
wanted to make
movie.
a realistic version of him.
Yeah.
So it originally had almost like a T-Rex design, which doesn't even look all that bad too, and a lot of more people preferred it once they like saw the concept art for it, and then I think they even had a model for it. And you know which one I'm talking about, right?
You're talking about that's because of 1994. They got scrapped.
Yeah,
that was the first. I'd rather have that than 98.
Yeah, a lot of people prefer that one.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And then, but I remember watching the video on like the creation of it. What really irks me out about that fucking Godzilla though is like the dorsal fins are like reversed backwards.
Yeah, me too. So, I hated it as a kid. They're like going this way instead of like...
they flip forward towards his head, which makes no sense. So it means like his dorsal fins are growing into his head, eventually killing him.
Yeah. Bryan, this movie is like the Godzilla 1988 is like the Sonic 06 of the Godzilla series. But for me...
Don't compare it to that.
No, that's what it is. It's a best comparison. But for me, 98 is nostalgic to me for the...
I like it as a kid.
Yeah, I like it because it was a monster movie, but it's a bad Godzilla movie. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
If you take the name away, which they did, took the name away. That's a history as well. It's an okay monster. It's fun. It's campy. It's the 90s. I like the movie. You just don't like it as a Godzilla movie, and it destroys Godzilla character in general.
It's coffee?
Right.
But it's like, then after that, the movie was kind of so bad that Toho had to come out again and say, like, we got to make our own Godzilla movies again. And that's where the Millennium series started with Godzilla 2000, GMK.
Okay. So talk to me about this like era situation, because we got the Showa era, we got the Heisei era. Is that just the production company that made it, the director that made it, like who ran that franchise for that period of time?
It's the same. They're still the same Toho, just different eras. So something Japan does. Like Showa is from the 50s to the 70s.
Right.
80s to 90s to Heisei. Millennium is obviously the 2000s to 2014-ish. Well, they kind of separate Millennium and Monsterverse.
Right.
So I think Millennium ended 2004. That was the last Godzilla movie before 2014 came out.
Copy.
So like with Final Wars, that was supposed to be the last of it.
Yeah, last of it. And I never forget.
Because Final Wars was a love letter for Godzilla. It showed every monster he's ever faced, and then had one final full-out brawl. And the movie's just straight action. It's not really a good. It's not a good Godzilla movie. It was just a love letter
chaos.
movie. They had to add every single thing that's ever came before, which is 50 years of Godzilla into one movie, and then they just had to like roll with it. And then that was supposed to be it. No more Godzilla. And then
they wanted to break. They wanted to break. So they waited 10 years till 2014 come out. And
copy.
In 2012, I'll never forget this, because I remember at the time in 2004 when Final Wars coming out, I remember going to the website, and this is the first time I remember being on forums and stuff around this time, and I remember never forget people saying this is the last Godzilla movie, and since then I was counting down days for 10 years for the next Godzilla movie, no joke. And I remember 2012 when they released Legendary released an article, they were making a Godzilla movie, and I was like, oh my god. And I remember that concept art they had, you probably seen it before, Jordan. The first monster versus Godzilla. Then
was Legendary,
2 years later.
Was that Godzilla movie Shin Godzilla, or did that come before that and then Shin Godzilla come after? Because I remember there being a Japanese version of a Godzilla film.
Yeah, that's Shin Godzilla.
Shin Godzilla. Yeah. Did that happen before the American version of Godzilla?
No.
After,
so it went, so Legendary's Godzilla did so well over here in the States that Toho was like, shit.
Yeah.
Let's make some of that moolah too now. And then they took the director for Evangelion, which I always forget his name. I'm terrible with Japanese names, so
no, I feel you.
Please forgive me on this, but they took the director from Evangelion and they wrote out a script, and they made Shin Godzilla in 2016 after 2014's.
Okay, copy.
And then, it's something actually really cool about Shin Godzilla is they wanted to. He's the most disfigured Godzilla as well.
The freakiest. Yeah.
And they wanted to actually even make it even more like
unnatural,
fathomable,
like unidentifiable with like Godzilla. And Toho had to pull back hit the brakes and just be like, whoa. No, you got to make it somewhat like Godzilla.
You can see pieces in that movie which kind of, it annoys me a little bit, but I get it. He wanted to be different. But one thing I loved about 2014 is kind of when it first came out, it was kind of controversial.
Yeah, because I remember like it was the movie that has Bryan Cranston in it.
Yeah,
and I remember a lot of talk about like, well, this Godzilla isn't Godzilla. Like, it has none of the classic elements of Godzilla. Like, it's just a generic action movie with the Godzilla name. Like, I heard fanboys complaining all over the place.
That's definitely not true.
For that film.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But people complain about the screen time of Godzilla and Bryan Cranston's character death. Spoilers.
And that was slice forward, which you probably already know this. That was the most thing. That was the biggest takeaway from that movie was like, don't really give a shit about how dark it was or anything. It was just, which I mean, they do now. It's like, that's a big controversial thing about 2014. It's just too black. But it was just Bryan Cranston's like screen time that he was like kill it off immediately.
And Godzilla screen time.
So,
and I remember, what's up?
No, go ahead.
That's my response when the criticism from 2014, like Godzilla doesn't appear a lot. I'm like, first, the director got inspired by Jaws. He said it multiple times. And two, if you watch any past Godzilla film, it's the exact same way.
Yeah, doesn't he show up like for like 20 minutes out of the whole fucking thing?
And you know what? I think what people are comparing to is the last Godzilla film was Final Wars, which was just nothing but Godzilla on screen.
Yeah, pure Godzilla. And I'm not saying like an elitist or something, but it's like clearly you haven't seen much Godzilla movies. This is new for me how I viewed it. But yeah, what are you going to say?
No, well, I was just going to say because like, the only Godzilla movie that I've ever seen fully has been Shin Godzilla. And I've seen clips and whatever of like the Bryan Cranston Godzilla, and then I'm loosely following the release of Godzilla vs. Kong, and like Kong King of the Monsters, whatever the fuck it was, and so. And it's interesting to me to see the reaction of Godzilla, because I felt like before Shin Godzilla, the reaction was so critical of Godzilla, like Godzilla films. And then now, like, it has slowly adjusted to being like this massive like event, but it's still like so niche to like it's got a very cult community.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's what you're saying. Yeah.
But I have never been introduced to anything Godzilla ever until like after Shin Godzilla came out. When Crockett wanted to do a podcast about it for like 6 months, when I was doing for film's
so jealous
sake.
about that podcast episode. I was yelling at the screen. I wish I was there. I never forget listening to that.
That's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
And so like I watched that film and we watched it, and it was one of those things where like a lot of the Japanese sensitivities of filmmaking were really interesting to see in that film, because me not watching the American Godzilla that came out just before that one, it felt like just from the trailers like there was like a legitimate element missing from the American Godzilla that was present in the Japanese version of Godzilla. And it was kind of like that human element, that kind of like the human hubris of thinking that they could take on Godzilla, or that they're fighting against nature and like they're gonna win against nature. It seems like the American films have a lot more of like the opposite message of that, like humanity can control nature and will domesticate nature, judging by like how Kong is being played out, and like Godzilla is actually a good guy, but he was a bad guy before, but now he's kind of good. Like all of that shit just always seemed confusing to me about the Godzilla franchise.
It depends on like what kind of era you're in. That's depending on like what you're gonna get. So that's why I'm saying it's an ever evolving genre. That's why it's lasted for as long as it has, because the series keeps evolving through. So like the theme of like what's happening with like this now is like so with King of the Monsters, the whole like pretty much overarching theme about it was nature is just taking back over.
Right.
That humans were
the virus.
Yeah, I don't want to say it like that, because
but
it's so
what it
cheesy
is.
to say.
We are the virus, or whatever.
Yeah, we are a virus. Like the Earth is like sending out an infection, which is just the Earth is just reclaiming Earth.
Right.
Like we are a foreign object on this planet, and we're not meant to be here. And pretty much the monsters, all the kaijus that are rising up from the planet, are just nature itself taking it back. That we need to be leveled on where we are at in the food chain.
Okay.
It's like more structures too, because around the Showa era, so Toho had a lot of monster movies, not just for Godzilla. They had like the Gargantulas, which is Frankenstein's kids. Kong movies, Japanese King Kong, and Rodan and Mothra had their own films.
Right.
So these monsters came around, and even reference Marvel Comics kind of did the same thing too in the 60s, 50s, and 60s. It's like this is the atomic age, and a lot of these characters are appearing from nuclear testings and stuff. Like they call it the atomic age group, like nuclear testing. So most of these monsters came from nuclear bombs and stuff, like radiation and stuff. So Godzilla came from that irradiated Rodan, and not Martha, but Japanese Frankenstein was a kid.
Right.
He was a heart. They grew to a kid. Found out he was a giant man because the radiation.
Sorry, he was a heart?
Yeah, he grew from a heart, irradiated heart.
Literally just a heart.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was a small kid. They're like, who was this kid? He grew giant. Yeah. Then for the MonsterVerse, like Jordan said, so like Godzilla created from a nuclear bomb,
right,
or irradiated from it. The MonsterVerse version, he isn't. He's naturally that way.
Okay.
He's from an age where radiation was more prominent on Earth.
Copy.
There was there's
10 times more radiation
Godzillas.
in levels. Yeah. When it's always been in the Japanese version too. They all died. Only Godzillas exist. But here it's like every monster from that, well, at least most monsters from that period are radiation based.
Copy.
And Godzilla's top, he's the alpha of they call it God or something. He's king of God, literally that. But
he was the God killer, right? That's what his name means.
God killer?
Yeah, wasn't he like God killer? Isn't that what Godzilla means?
No, Godzilla is
it means whale and gorilla.
Well,
in Japan, yeah. strong as a gorilla and swimming well. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fine. I don't know where the fuck I heard that then.
But yeah, he's a keeper of balance. He keeps things in check. So he's an anti-hero.
Copy.
Garrett Edwards, the original 2014 director, he was like, he's not a bad guy or he's a good guy. He just make things right. Because the entire world is his world, his home.
Right.
That's his dominion. He isn't like Japan or isn't, you know what I'm saying? The entire planet is his.
Okay.
And so like, as he's like, no, like, he made a good comparison. Like when we're walking, we don't think about ants, do we? That's how Monster vs. Godzilla is.
Okay.
If he steps on you, oh well. But it wasn't intentional, right? He doesn't mean no harm for it. He just does it.
Yeah, he's just walking.
And he's just walking, and that's
like
how
he's not even in our game. He is a completely separate player walking by.
So does the Godzilla genre is because it's not Eldritch horror, of course, but does the concept
only 2014 is like really shot like that?
Yeah, but is the concept of Godzilla, can it be traced back to this Eldritch sort of? Oh no, you're telling me that the Eldritch concept just comes from the 2014 film.
Garrett just wanted to like do a new theme, and like the genre of Godzilla's is just a horror theme.
Copy.
And the
original was a horror film. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess he wanted to like capture a little bit of that spirit.
So I'm guessing, is there some Lovecraftian element to Godzilla? Like, is there an element where he's so big and so powerful that you can't really like fathom? You can't fight against it. You can't fathom the existence of it. He's just kind of there, and you have to deal with it.
No. Godzilla can die. He's died before on screen. He's been reborn.
He can die, but what Bryan said, yeah, he can die, but it's more like Godzilla's meant to be unstoppable from conventional weapons. You can't beat him unless a giant monster comes, or
unless they make Mechagodzilla or something.
Yeah, right. Mechagodzilla or something, or
thank you, honey.
Doxin Destroyer. Which killed the original Godzilla. She make you salad.
She made me fucking meatballs and potatoes and salad.
Ooh, damn, dude.
It's fucking fire. Make you hungies.
So it varies on which version, really. But like 1998 Godzilla, before they changed his name, that was essentially Godzilla. He died from bullets, and that's not a part of Godzilla's. You don't do that. You don't die from missiles and bullets, and that's another thing people hate. Yeah.
That's fucking fascinating. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me fucking finish this fight. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just mute your mic for a second while you
ASMR, mukbang video.
Probably sounds disgusting. So God, that salad's fucking delicious. So like all of the different like eras of Godzilla and stuff like that, like they really just have Godzilla as like a common theme. Like there's not particularly there's not a huge overarching thematic going from like the Showa era to the Reiwa era. It's just kind of like, this is Godzilla and this is everyone's interpretation of Godzilla at the time that this was made, or this is someone's interpretation of Godzilla. Do you think that the series will be alive much longer than that? Or do you think like the fact that the series has been going on for so long means that it's going to lose some of that social commentary that it started with? And that's why it resonated with people, was kind of like that social commentary. Do we think that is going away, or do we think that it's just shifting to be something else? Or like, I don't know. How do you guys feel about like the social component of Godzilla?
Like, how do we feel about the future of Godzilla and what direction it's going in?
It's stronger than ever. Yeah. It's still going with. How old is he? 65 years old plus?
I think so, yeah.
Is it 60?
Can't remember.
Yeah, 65.
Somewhere around there. That's the last time I remember seeing the anniversary. 65.
Yeah,
I can't
65
remember, but
years so far.
So like
the biggest star in Hollywood.
2014. Despite what you heard about that movie, that's the first MonsterVerse film. It kind of kickstarted the franchise again. Brought back a lot of people that was waiting, like including myself. Like, not that I left anything, it put Godzilla back in the open light again for the mainstream audience. Then we got Kong Skull Island, which is part of the MonsterVerse. Then Japan response with Shin Godzilla. They loved 2014 so well, and they actually respect that movie, which I love, that relationship they have between each other. Mm-hmm. They acknowledge that that's their Godzilla as well, which is so cool.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. And like, so they made Shin Godzilla as a response. So we have like two side series going on, which is, to me, that's great. I have American movies and Japanese movies to watch, and they haven't stopped doing that trend since. So we got like a new anime movie coming out.
Let's see that. Yeah, let's see that coming out.
They had the terrible anime trilogy a while back. Bryan, that was actually the first time I in a very, very long time being disappointed from the Godzilla movies.
Damn, that must have been pretty bad then.
Yeah, because I don't have expectations for Godzilla movies at all.
If you want an actual like unstoppable Godzilla, like something close is just unfathomably strong, that's your Godzilla.
The Planet Eater Godzilla?
Godzilla, yeah. Is it Planet Eater or Godzilla?
Godzilla Earth. Yeah, Godzilla Earth.
Yeah, that's like the literally strongest anything.
I hated movies. It's so boring.
They're so overpowered.
Yeah, I remember just being genuinely disappointed. Like I was saying, like I don't have expectations going to a Godzilla movie. Just make a good movie or something for me to enjoy. And those one of the few movies like I just did not care for. Yeah.
To answer your question, Bryan, I think King of the Monsters was their like attempt to make a serious, well, like, you know, meaning movie, but like they wanted to balance it out because these are like summer blockbuster movies for, you know, American audience and stuff. So that was like their kind of like attempt. I don't know if they'll ever. So Godzilla versus Kong is, I think, the last of the MonsterVerse. I feel like I think that is like the closing arc of it.
Yeah.
And this might be a little controversial. We'll kind of get to it more towards the end of the show, but I got a bad feeling about this movie.
You think it's gonna be bad?
I read the leaks.
I got a feeling that it's gonna be bad. Sure the story is probably gonna be hot garbage.
I can't wait to talk about this.
But like, you know, the action's gonna be top tier. I mean, the CGI already looks incredible. I just had this arcing feeling that Kong is going to win in a way. Just of like, I can tell from like with the King of the Monsters of like the overall creatures showing up on the end of it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just their creature designs and stuff, they're all Kong-based designs. You can tell that these creatures or the artist, whoever designed them, I need to look up the cast list, but whoever designed the art direction for it is Kong's art direction.
Like a Kong fan? What'd you say?
He's wearing this shirt and this literally disrespecting our king like that.
I'm not disrespecting the king, man.
Look at that.
Godzilla to the day I die.
I'm gonna edit that out. That's disgusting. I'm offended.
But I'm saying that like I think that is their direction. So because look, Toho is gonna take Godzilla back, but
we don't know yet.
Who's Legendary gonna be stuck with in the end? They're gonna make a whole series with Kong. That's the feeling.
I can't wait to talk about this with you later.
I really think that Crockett is hitting onto something.
I have so much power as compared to him.
I know you have the leaks.
Because you read the leaks.
Me and Khalif have just been talking for weeks now.
That's fucking.
He knows as well. I've been talking to a lot of people about this movie.
But I mean, like that would be such a smart decision for them to do that.
Not really.
No, man, I feel like
what happens when they can't make any more Godzilla movies and they only have Kong left? They need to make that. They make a whole. I guarantee they're gonna make a Kong franchise, just like this Kong.
He
movies.
already has kind of have a.
Yeah. Like I told Khalifa today, literally this morning, this is Godzilla's universe. Kong just exists. That's not bias aside, but this is Godzilla's universe. It started from there, it's ending from there, if it ends. But Kong's just so happened to exist in this world. He's got a new anime series. I'm not sure if he's going to be in that movie, though.
Is there a unifying... Is there like a Godzilla cinematic universe?
Yeah, that's what the MonsterVerse is.
Is there anything prior to that? Are they all connected?
Glad you brought that up. Yeah, glad you brought that up, because Toho had previous films. They had Rodan's movie or Mothra movie, and they have Godzilla movies. So one of my favorite Godzilla movies was Ghidorah, the Three-Headed Monster. That's when Ghidorah first appeared. 1964. Yeah, 1964, I believe. So it's funny you mentioned this because this is probably the first, correct me if I'm wrong, film people, but this is probably the first cinematic universe we ever had. With movies. And
I really do believe that. I think that Godzilla was the one that started the trend of having interconnected characters show up in every other movie that were not direct sequels.
Yeah, and like I remember watching it like leading to 2014 at the time. I remember watching that movie. Like, this movie's sick because you can like feel it be like a what's the word? Like a cinematic. Like they bringing all these monsters together to fight this guy.
Right.
You can feel it, but it wasn't their intentions.
It was like a crossover.
Does it make any sense?
Yeah, it was like a crossover.
Yeah, they brought all those monsters from those previous movies, or from their separate movies into this Godzilla movie.
So in the
history still intact and everything.
Let me ask you this: in the Gamora movies, the Mothra movie, whatever the fuck movies, Did Godzilla show up to those, or did they just happen to have they had their own plot, their own story?
In Ghidorah, yeah.
Own plot.
There's not a Ghidorah, but like a Rodan or Mothra, no.
Yeah, the Godzilla does not mention.
Their own like separate. Think of it like Avenger movies getting like their characters getting their own spin-off series.
So were they as important as Godzilla was? They're kaiju movies in their own end.
Mothra is. I don't know.
Yeah, they all had their own stories. They're important characters. They're separate films. But later on in the series, it's still Godzilla series.
So Godzilla
first and foremost.
They're still side characters to the.
Yeah.
So
they're side characters in the mainline series, but their own movie. They only had Mothra has a trilogy in the 90s,
right?
But no one talks about. But Rodan only had one film, and he was the main character of that movie. But later on, he just became a side character.
Copy.
In that Godzilla series. Yeah.
So it's obvious to say that Godzilla is kind of like the father of all of like the genre itself. Like
you could say the Godfather.
They say that. That's so funny. Because Godzilla is actually the godfather of Tokusatsu, which is like Power Rangers, Ultraman.
We should get a touch on that a little bit.
Godzilla kind of kickstarted all of that.
We're gonna talk about some kaiju. So
like
Ultraman, Power Rangers.
I still don't know what the fuck Ultraman is.
Ultraman is it's an alien fighting aliens, which is
alien scientists.
Kaijus and stuff.
Okay,
that's Taylor's favorite series. She loves Ultraman.
Interesting.
Yeah, she loves
Ultraman has some of the most unique creature
designs. Still to this day, you can tell an Ultraman monster when you Google it.
Interesting.
Just Google giant monster, you can spot up a monster from Ultraman. You'd be right.
Del Toro is a massive
Ultraman fan.
I would love to see a Guillermo del Toro like Ultraman or Godzilla film. That would be fucking cool.
Yeah, same.
I don't know if you've ever seen this clip, but like he's on a Tokyo TV show.
Yeah, I've seen this.
And they bring out a creature from Ultraman. I don't know which creature it is from Ultraman series. And he just he's so happy and he hugs the guy in the suit.
Yeah, he's like a fangirling. Yeah, he's an Ultraman fan. He even
has in his house. I've seen his house tour. Have you guys ever seen Del Toro's house?
Dude, his house is fucking incredible.
Crazy.
It's a museum.
But he has like Ultraman monsters in it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the Gamera series is also Spawn.
Yeah, Gamera was the original movie was a ripoff from 1954. So Gamera was my Godzilla was my main man.
Right.
Growing up at the time.
Explain to people what is Gamera.
So Gamera was also a nuclear monster at the time. Was a blatantly rip up the original Godzilla in my opinion.
Right.
But later that they made their childish, cheesy movies, worse than the Showa movies.
Mm-hmm.
But I talk about the Heisei series of Gamera. If you want to recommend a monster movie to people who never seen monster movies, I recommend that trilogy first. The Heisei trilogy.
I saw you tweet about that today.
Fantastic movies, Bryan. They're awesome. The special effects guy from Shin Godzilla worked on those movies back in the 90s.
Wow.
Yeah. I think they're probably the best kaiju movies out there. So even better than some Godzilla movies.
Let me ask you this: for a movie to be a good kaiju movie, what does it need?
Well,
what do you think makes a cool looking
monster?
Okay.
A cool looking monster and just good characters. Just I'm being honest, straight up super simple. Just enjoyable story, good characters, and a good monster.
So but
you don't have to do fights either, though. But
the drama, because a lot of the times when I see people talk about Godzilla, and I want to get your thoughts on this because I feel like this is one of those.
I know
things,
you're going at.
Yeah, people are just like, oh, there's too much human, there's not enough Godzilla, and then another Godzilla movie comes out and they go like, oh, there's too much Godzilla, there's not enough humans.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
That's what happened to 2014 in King of the Monsters. 2014 had less Godzilla, and King of the Monsters is too much Godzilla, and. So, for me, that's why I was saying, there's different types of Godzilla movies. The 1954 film was clearly about the characters. Shin Godzilla is about the human characters, which they were fantastic in that movie.
Yeah, Shin Godzilla has my favorite, some of my favorite, acting moments from
that. I think they're the best in the series, to be honest with you. Next to the original. Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, that's just straight up fighting. It's Final Wars, fighting. You got just different versions of the thing. Of different films, so it just varies from people to people. But that's the thing. That's the hard balance. If you want to make humans interesting, just write better. That's all I can say. Just make them interesting. Yeah, because some people just gonna skim over it.
Right.
It's like the Transformers films. People say we don't care about these humans. We care about Transformers. Which for Transformers, it's easier to do a Transformers movie than a Godzilla movie.
Mm-hmm.
The Transformers can actually speak and have emotions and all that stuff. And they do have their own storylines and stuff. But for Godzilla, they're just monsters. So it's real limited.
How about you, Crockett?
Yeah, pretty much. I like there's a little, like I was like saying before, there's a little bit of something for every Godzilla fan in each series or each genre or whatever, like a Heisen and Shota and all that. I mean, with like the kid, I always get them messed up. We're in the what? Saya? What are they calling this genre now that we're in?
Isn't this the legendary pictures?
Rara.
I think that's fan made, but I've seen that word passed around too.
No, I think it started when Shin Godzilla came out. It was in.
Is it a real thing?
They officially called it Rivera.
I wonder if it's because of that director.
But like in like millennial, it's like all like it's. You can definitely tell in each different decades there are themes that they're hitting, and that's going to be dependent on the writing. So with and I think was it Shota with the kids?
Shota.
In that area, like it's definitely targeted towards children, so it's going to be very like
friendly,
kid oriented, friendly. Yeah. These are like family movies,
right?
For like Japanese children.
That seems insane to me, like a family friendly Godzilla.
Right.
Another laughing at too.
But if you juxtapositioned into like the millennial series where it's this hardcore action, it's writing of the time. So like the 90s, like
the 90s extreme.
Action pack, put a guitar riff soundtrack behind it. Everything has to be exploding. The writing's gonna be blackluster with that. It's gonna be very shallow and just high octane action.
Right.
Because that is what is selling. There is very rare that there is a Godzilla film that has a emotional backing to it, where it's like a writer wanted to, or a director wanted to make a serious movie, because it's kind of hard to make a serious movie sometimes about a giant creature. It can be done. It is just sometimes the money's just not there. So
I don't think it's the money. It just like
it got treated for a while more of a property that they could pass around to different directors to make money. Yeah. That's why the first one is so impactful, and then you have all these other films, and then you get into like Shin Godzilla, which is like, well, let's re-pick back up and let's start like how we started before. Let's make a serious one. Even with 1985, they wanted to make a more serious, serious story with a serious Godzilla.
Right.
They wanted to change tone a bit, because it is kind of like Transformers, where it's marketable.
Right.
Yeah.
What's up, Ty?
It's funny. I was thinking about this for a very long time, but like every reboot, quote unquote, of a Godzilla movie is always the darker, better one.
Yeah.
1954, 85, or people call it 84.
The 1999
Legendary one. Godzilla. Then Shin Godzilla.
Copy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to always have to, for some reason, you have to start with a hard base, and then you can get loose once you get a little further away from that toll.
So I think
like if people want to.
Go ahead. I think I wanted to say that I think I know why that happens. I always know why the beginning of like each era is like the strongest one. And it's because that's the director that got brought on to do that film fought for the elements that he wanted to keep. Because at that point, it's a 10-year-old franchise. Like every reboot is roughly around 10 years. At that point, it's a 10-year-old property. You're trying to make some money and revitalize it. Let's see what is trending in this particular year. Like, is action doing better than horror, or is horror doing better than action? Like, are we looking at like more family-friendly things to like talk about? Look at those trends. You choose the genre that you want to be in, and then you give it to a director that like gives a fuck about it, because it's the first Godzilla movie in like X amount of time that you're gonna get. And so there's not the studio pressure to make the Godzilla film be something else. Like oftentimes like the Bryan Cranston Godzilla spurred on this new franchise. And I feel like me knowing nothing about the franchise, I can understand right now that the trend for the franchise is we had a kind of like a dark and grittier Godzilla with Bryan Cranston's film. And now we're leading into this like Kong's Skull Island.
Blockbuster.
We're leading into this thing. It's like they're trying to bring back the blockbuster like summer Godzilla films with this franchise. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think it's just the trend. Like they want to have that cinematic experience about just watching cool shit happen on screen.
Yeah.
Whereas like for example, like if you brought Shin Godzilla into the picture, that movie in particular wasn't necessarily focused on all the fighting, but that movie was focused on the personalities of the people that are going up against Godzilla. and dealing with Godzilla as a threat. So maybe at that time period, Japan had a more sincere connection with the property, or had a deeper understanding about like what makes a good Godzilla good for like the Japan market. And then the American market just knew that like the action and the flashiness is what's getting a lot of people into the seats for watching the movie. They're just easier to market.
Would you call it ignorance?
Like Shin Godzilla is like a social commentary.
Yeah.
Will you call it ignorance?
From
the viewer?
I do, but it's not our fault. It's not the viewer's fault. We have been trained over time to watch the simplest, sort of blandest version of things, the more condensed version of things, because they are easy to watch. Because they're easy to make, they're relatively cheap, and you make a shit ton of money. I was talking to Fredericks, I think it was a Super Bowl, about what we just talked about, the monster versus Godzilla, how it shifted. Because I was telling him like 2014 Godzilla was a serious movie. Then how it shifted to more of this action-packed series, which I don't hate. They're fun in their own right.
It's fun, but it's just weird change how they did that. From you look at 1954, then look at King of the Monsters, and from what I'm saying, from freaking Godzilla vs. Kong is completely different movies. And you think that world turned to that?
Yeah,
and it's so bizarre. Yeah,
I think it happens because when you introduce a new world and you see that the world has like commercial potential, then you start leading into the trends that are happening. And like the trends that are happening right now are like the Avengers, sort of like action-packed films going on that are like relatively easy to watch. You put in a big star like Millie Bobby Brown or whoever the fuck else is in the new film, and then you suddenly have something that's like really marketable. And so,
it reminds me of like Man of Steel, in a sense how Man of Steel was supposed to be just Superman trilogy,
right?
Then next thing you know, they bring in Batman and Wonder Woman and Aquaman. Then it's so funny because it's like, how much do you guys know about God vs. Kong?
I know a goddamn nothing.
Do you know the villain in the movie?
Yeah,
Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, I could. I mean, obviously, yeah, I could. If you watch my react, the villain.
Yeah.
I don't want to say. I don't want to like.
Say it. Fuck it.
I think everyone knows.
I don't want to spoil it for people who.
It's not a spoiler. I think everyone generally knows.
Say it. Fuck it.
Generally, people know, not like average consumer.
The villain's gonna be Mecha Godzilla, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me that years ago, which I will freak out. Yeah, but it's so weird to see a Mecha Godzilla in this serious universe at the time.
Is it because it's hard to take serious, or is it because?
Because it's more like Mechagodzilla is more of like a outlandish thing,
right?
For like a 2014 Godzilla movie at the time,
right?
Like I wouldn't imagine giant robot Godzilla fighting. You see what I'm saying? I get a monster or something, but like you see like Mechagodzilla in this movie, which I am all for,
right?
But it's
this is probably why we can't get like a serious Godzilla trilogy right now, is because this would put way more butts in a seat than a three-part series of just horror genre Godzilla, which I really kind of wish we would have got that. But I'm all for, because we have this technology, we have the CGI technology to make these kind of movies realistic and awesome looking, which it does. But I would love to see, like, maybe after this, like, we go back to those horror roots and stuff, because I would love to see another like horror. I mean, Shin Godzilla,
the Americanized version.
Shin Godzilla did a good job, but I think Edwards was tapping into something that we really never got to see a lot of with Godzilla, and I think he makes a perfect horror creature.
And like that's the thing I'm talking about as well. I don't think he can make Godzilla. Shin Godzilla did it, but I think it's really hard to make Godzilla a horror character nowadays.
I disagree with you.
You disagree?
I think you can make a fantastic horror kaiju movie. You would have a lot of action elements for sure, but I think of movies like Cloverfield, and I think of movies like
I was thinking Cloverfield too, but was it?
I think like movies like War of the Worlds.
Movie,
you know.
Yeah. Like, okay, that was scary.
There's an element of the thing that is scary about Godzilla is not the fact that Godzilla's a giant fucking monster. It's the fact that you cannot fight him. It's like,
yeah, you're right.
Like if you could kill him, you'd be fine. You know, like Predator. Predator was a horror movie until the Predator bled.
Yeah.
So
if it bleeds, it can die.
If it bleeds, it means I can kill it. I fucking love Predator, by the way. Great film.
Yeah.
But the Predator was only scary until it bled. So the moment that Godzilla can be taken down by humans, the entire thing just collapses. So like Godzilla would benefit immensely from being any kaiju movie. Let's not even talk about Godzilla. Let's say any kaiju movie would benefit immensely for being a cosmic horror adjacent film.
And that's what I liked about Cloverfield, especially when it coming up to marketing. We didn't know what the heck was going on. The marketing was scary. It was good, this weird found footage stuff. And I know a lot of kaiju fans don't talk about it, but I love Cloverfield. I always imagine this is a Godzilla movie with a human's perspective. How would you react? What would you do? And like this giant monster attacking the city. What are you gonna do?
And
so they walk around the city trying to.
And I would like a Godzilla movie or any kaiju movie where the guys that are fighting Godzilla are not the main focus of the story. I want an intimate kaiju movie,
a civilian,
where it's like a family. Like it's a dude that just has to react to Godzilla. What the fuck does he do? And so cosmic horror borrows a lot of that. Cosmic horror borrows a lot from like the common man having to deal with a threat so big that it seems hopeless. And then how do we react to Godzilla? That's how you make a good horror kaiju movie.
That's pretty much what 2014 was just...
I think it did a blend away. 2014 characters was boring. I acknowledge that. They weren't interesting. Like that's why I praise Shin Godzilla, because it's human character. They were actually interesting. It was kind of somewhat what Bryan was saying, but it's more of the government's dealing with it. Like this monster
it's kind of like, well, that is like an everyday man of how do you, if you were sitting in a council position,
imagine a crisis,
a prime minister position, how do you handle this with pretty much that was a metaphor for the bureaucracy of how they handled the
tsunami,
the Fukushima type, Fukushima leak,
how they handled the radiation leak and stuff, just how nothing could get done, and then they were like, they have so much red tape.
Bryan, true story. When that happened, the first thing on Google was top search on Google was Godzilla.
The same thing. I checked the same thing when they had those earthquakes the other day. Like I guess a couple of weeks ago. I checked when I saw that trending, or I saw that they were having earthquakes. I went straight to the trending page on Twitter. Sure enough, Godzilla was trending.
That's fucking crazy.
They always do this.
Shin Godzilla was
which is kind of fucked, honestly.
It was a political satire. Like I never forget the scene where let's go to this different room to talk about the same thing in a different room. Like, what was the point of that? It's killing time away. Just get on
Gentlemen,
with it.
This is the war room. You cannot fight in here. It's the same vibe. It's the same vibe.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, what's up? No, you good.
No, what I was going to say is that I think that like the kaiju genre as a whole really does benefit from cosmic horror. Because the unfathomability of like a creature like Godzilla. Now in the universe that exists now, like humans are aware of Godzilla, they know about him, they know about the big monsters. Mm-hmm. But what if in like the next reboot of Godzilla, nobody knows shit about this, and then you just have to react to this giant monster. And imagine a scene where Godzilla is not as big as he is right now. And imagine a scene where like a father or like a husband or something is walking around, and then Godzilla just trying to run away, Godzilla just fucking steps on his wife. And then you just have to deal with the aftermath of that.
You still can make that movie in this universe. Yeah. Just make it about a family that's nothing part of Monarch at all. Just as an ordinary family, and Godzilla just coming.
Yeah. What?
Even
I'm
what
telling
you,
that's what 2014 is.
No, 2014 is not that, because 2014 is a government agency.
Either.
2014 is a government agency.
There's a government.
So 2014, the thematics about 2014 is not how big and scary Godzilla is. It's how shitty humans are at dealing with Godzilla. Not about how incapable humans are at dealing with Godzilla.
Yeah.
In 2014?
Yeah, in 2014. Sorry.
No, Bryan Cranston's character gets not, he doesn't get affected by Godzilla per se, but he gets affected by the Mutos killing his wife essentially, and he gets obsessed. And then the reason why that movie, people don't like that movie so much, is because Bryan
Cranston.
Breaking Bad height.
I can't. Yeah. No, well, his character was really well written.
It was.
He was pretty much the main character. His son was written super blandly.
God,
so
he was bland.
Once Bryan Cranston's character dies, the movie just he's bland. He has no emotion. The way he's written.
Jesus Christ.
Like he was supposed to, like Bryan Cranston's character was a martyr, a sacrificial lamb. Martyr, yeah. For his son to be like, look, you're not spending enough time with your family. This is what happened to me. I end up dying because of, my obsession with this.
But at the end of that movie, we have a military complex taking out Godzilla.
They don't take out Godzilla.
Or they're not taking him out, but we have a military complex like fucking fighting Godzilla.
What we want is like this is not a spoiler, but in the trailer of Godzilla vs. Colin, it says Godzilla's going crazy. We don't know why. Mm-hmm. Make a movie about that. Yep. Some random family, Godzilla's going to some city you live in. Just some family. And Godzilla's coming. You see the news, you're freaking out. What do you do? How do you lead that attack or whatever?
So you want Cloverfield, but just Godzilla?
No.
In a sense, yeah. No?
No, not that simple.
Not found footage, though.
Not that simple.
Not found footage,
I don't want Cloverfield Godzilla.
Yeah.
I want a Godzilla that explores the themes of how ineffective the government is at dealing normal everyday people, at helping normal everyday people dealing with tragedies. Now, I want a kaiju movie that deals with the fact Texas froze over last week. What did the government do? Texas froze over like a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah,
the government did nothing. Imagine that same reaction, but Godzilla's coming in your town.
What would you do?
What the fuck do you do? And so like. It's interesting to see because the kaiju genre itself has evolved from this place of horror about fighting this unstoppable force, and it has sort of transformed into being this monster feature that humans can cooperate with and humans can like talk to and like interact with, and some humans like trust it as this being this bad guy or being this good guy and that kind of stuff. And I like that, but I feel like the kaiju genre, as a non-fan, I feel like the kaiju genre has suffered from being so campy and broadly written. Because I like big, flashy fights.
Super marketable.
But that's why I think Pacific Rim succeeded, because Pacific Rim is not that serious, but it is about big shit coming down to fight the Earth.
It took that and embraced it. Yeah, that's what's so special about that movie.
So I feel like there's a dissonance between the kaiju genre and like what lends itself to a good kaiju movie versus what we're actually doing with the kaiju genre. Godzilla vs. Kong looks really fun in CGI, but it also looks really uninteresting.
Watch Gamera again. Yeah, watch the Gamera trilogy. Yeah, because that's the one it takes. And I'm not saying it does not take Godzilla serious, but it takes the story seriously. Right. Then throughout the trilogy, I highly recommend that trilogy though. So I think that's like the best example of a good for someone like you. There's not really no interest to the series or. Probably thinks the monster's campy or something. Anyone like that. Those movies don't do that. Right. They're movies. I'm not trying to be funny here, but they're movies. The monster just so happen to be in those movies.
And
does that make any sense?
Yeah, no, it does.
Well, we're in films with just a arcing creature and
and they're not trying to be Godzilla movies. They're their own thing.
So is kaiju generally like an overwhelming Godzilla genre, or are there things that exist outside of Godzilla that could be considered kaijus that are equally as good?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Ultraman,
absolutely.
Power Rangers.
The Host is like a super wacky movie by the guy who made
I know what you're talking about. Bong Joon-ho.
His name's Bong something.
Bong Joon-ho.
Bong Joon-ho. Yeah.
He got Academy Awards with a few.
Yeah. The guy that directed Parasite.
He made The Host. That one has a super weird story, but it is a very good movie.
Okay.
I think the creature in it is like done very well.
I watched this at your house. I didn't know what it was. It was really good. It's a Korean film, right?
Yeah, it's the first foreign film I ever watched, other than Godzilla.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I don't outright call anything giant monsters kaiju at all. Right. But just more simple like a monster movie, like I
wouldn't call Cloverfield a kaiju.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't call Cloverfield a kaiju. It's more like an alien movie, more than anything.
I see what you're saying.
That's a good point. The origins of like Cloverfield, it's either like an alien movie. I don't know. I mean, I would kind of consider them. I mean, the Godzilla fandom and Kaiju fandom is kind of accepted Cloverfield monster,
right?
They accept,
but you make a good point about it just being an alien. It is pretty much an alien film because we know it's an alien now. Back then we didn't, so we just assumed it was like.
I'm glad you brought that up because my introduction to like when I think of monsters, I think of Godzilla first, and he branched off to a lot of things I like freaking anything with giant monsters and giant robots.
Yeah,
Digimon, Gundam, Power Rangers. That literally all came. Jurassic Park
came from Godzilla.
My dinosaurs came from all that just branched off. So like I wouldn't call Jurassic Park a freaking Kaiju movie. Yeah,
but it kind of is.
But it's not though.
In a way,
no, it's not.
It's not, but it kind of is.
But it's a monster with teeth. You know what I'm saying? It's an animal with teeth. Yeah.
The way I define it is just monster films.
Yeah.
Kaiju.
That's so interesting to me because for me the classification of a kaiju film is so specific, and it's like it's
giant monster.
It's a giant monster, but it's also like about humans' inability to like fight against this giant monster, and like how it's nature taking its course. Like for me, the kaiju embodies all of the thematics that are like explored in the Godzilla movies. You know, like
are you a fan of Kong 2005?
Say that again.
Or Peter Jackson?
I fucking hated
that. Peter Jackson King Kong?
That movie.
Really?
It was so bad. It was really? So I may have to give it a rewatch. It has been a while, but the last
this is a separation between a kaiju fan and then just a regular
like a film guy.
See, I wouldn't call that movie a
kaiju
movie.
That movie is absolutely not a kaiju film. Peter Jackson is not a kaiju film because there is nothing of note that happens in that movie, apart from like the retelling of the classic Godzilla thing. It is a fucking 2.5 hour to 3 hour film where nothing interesting happens,
so long,
except the fact that the giant monkey dies.
See, Bryan, no. I've been arguing this forever. Yeah. Kong stories are the same throughout history.
They absolutely are.
Godzilla at least tries something different. He's interesting. Kong has been falls in love with a white woman, dies every single movie, except for Skull Island.
Get you killed. You fall in love.
Skull Island ended that trend.
Also, why the fuck is Kong having this fetish for like tiny white women? What's going on there?
I'm about to say something. Never mind.
No, we'll say it off air.
No, they Khalid told me that they could compare. A lot of people compare Kong to black people.
Is there like a racist element attached to the original Kong?
I don't know. I can't say.
When did Kong come out? 1920s?
1930s.
Yeah. Dude, that would be an essay in and of itself.
Yeah.
You see my tweets about Kong. I don't hate the character.
I think the character is great. I just think he's constantly misused.
This is so funny because as a Godzilla fan, I'm more shocked as a Kong fans. Who comes up and says, I'm a King Kong fan?
They completely spawned up because of Godzilla. That's the only reason. Someone is like, well, someone's got to be blue team.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like who?
People. I mean, Devil's Advocate, definitely. That's all people.
This is what it is.
No one gives a shit about that character, and that character doesn't get supported anyway. So where are all these people coming out of the woodworks? These fucking
it's like I'm hate. I agree 100%. Like it's so weird to see Kong fans out of nowhere, and and especially for someone growing up as a Godzilla fan, it was rarely some. But no one ever comes to say, "Oh, I love Kong. He's my favorite monster."
Yeah, I wish you were Gamora or Mothra or Godzilla or.
Bro, I can't wait for fucking my king to beat that monkey's ass, son. Let's go,
dude.
Pound his face.
The punch in the trailer that Godzilla gave Kong, that bitch slap that he gave him. Oh my god,
slaps him.
Slaps him. Here's also my the thing why I hate talking about the Godzilla movies because they look incredible. They look fantastic. But there's always something missing in the character interaction to me a lot of the times that either prevents me from watching the film or it has me not interested in the film in the first place. And that's what's happening with Godzilla vs. Kong. It's like I really want to go to see the spectacle of it, but I don't give a shit about Millie Bobby Brown.
Can you tell me the story? Can you tell me the story from the trailer?
No.
At all? No, it's literally, and I can tell you that story is gonna be hot garbage. Because I can't even tell you what the story is even about, other than that it's just going to be about the two monsters. Which this is, pretty much we should probably start wrapping up. Yeah. We're hitting 1:30, but just to kind of wrap up, this is what we've been talking about. I kind of want to talk about. We should do another part two of this because I want to get into the other genres too, not just Godzilla, but Power Rangers.
Podcast. Next podcast, Pacific Rim, Power Rangers, and stuff.
Right. Just everything it spawned, because this is such a big topic. Because this has spawned so much in media.
Let's make March the official Godzilla month. Just have a month long of Godzilla shit.
Fuck, that'd be gnarly, dude.
How many weeks is that?
It's 4.
It's 3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
No, so
and then
listen, whatever. But yeah, I do agree. I think we should do a part 2 to talk about because we spent a lot of time on Godzilla today, Godzilla being the granddaddy for this entire genre.
Right.
But I want to know how we feeling about the stuff that came after him, the stuff that he inspired. Because there's a lot of stuff that I like, that came from the kaiju genre that I wouldn't have associated with kaiju unless I knew about
like Tonkatsu.
Yeah, like Tonkatsu. Like I loved Power Rangers as a kid. Super Senkai.
Sentai.
Super Sentai.
Stuff like that. I would never have associated that stuff with Godzilla.
Yeah, he kind of kickstarted all of that.
I would like to talk a little bit more about that in a part 2 because the genre is so interesting to me. But if you were to wrap it up, what would you suggest to a non-Godzilla fan or a non-Kaiju fan to be their first Kaiju movie?
So it depends. So if you want to be authentic as possible, watch 1954. 1954.
Okay. I hear that response a lot.
Most authentic Godzilla movie.
I hear that a lot.
But if you don't like black and white movies, watch Shin Godzilla.
Okay.
If you want action movies, watch Final Wars. If you want to blend of both, watch Godzilla King of the Monsters that came out 2 years ago.
So Godzilla can be a tailored experience. How about you, Crockett?
I wouldn't say King of the Monsters. King of the Monsters is so this is the thing I would say that if you want to watch like just nonstop action, watch Final Wars and King of the Monsters. But those are both love letter films.
Those are only letters to us.
Those
that's what I'm
are
saying.
literally films just for those like fans like me and Tay that are like hardcore and can understand all the references that they're making. To someone entry level, they're not gonna understand a fucking thing about it. So 1954 it is so elitist for me to say this, but 1954 is a great starting point if you are into serious films. If you're wanting to understand why this character started so big, you can watch that. If you want to start off like you want to see the most recent Japanese film, Shin Godzilla is great because you can kind of see like current Japan and then
real time,
social commentary. If you want
to
see a social commentary Godzilla film, Shin Godzilla is perfect. If you want to do a horror Godzilla, 2014.
Say horror for me one more time.
I know.
Say it for me one more time.
Horror.
It's horror.
Horror.
Horror. Are you from fucking Boston?
I know. I just put an ER on.
You really think 2014 is a horror movie though? I don't see that at all.
It 100%.
You tried.
The way it's shot, the way the angles are always looking up. It's this overwhelming.
They made them bigger.
If not a horror movie, I would call it horror inspired.
Horror inspired.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, horror inspired.
1985 is great. Or 84, whatever you want to call it. Godzilla 2000, if you want that.
I don't recommend it. Not a bad movie. I just won't recommend it for the first time.
Godzilla versus Megalon, if you want that kid friendly. If you want to see what the kind of the kiddish side in a campy film, that's the one where Godzilla's sliding on his tail. That movie's
I agree.
Super cheesy. Me and Tay were watching that the other night. It's so fucking cheesy.
That's awesome.
It's funny, like when me and Jordan were talking at night. Like, I have these movies. Most of my collection on VHS.
Yeah.
So watching these in 4K was really hard
illegal.
to watch.
Yeah, 100% illegal.
It doesn't look. It felt illegal. Yeah, because I'm not used to watching those movies
looking that good
in such high quality.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think
I agree with.
There's no one starting point depending on depending on your taste.
Yeah.
There is decades.
There's samples.
There's decades and decades and decades of Godzillas to pick from.
Yeah.
Pretty much just start at the beginning of each one of those decades, depending on what you want to watch. Okay.
And get a taste of it. Like you said with Megalon, just a taste of the 70s campiness.
That makes sense.
You like that?
Yeah, do you want to just
continue with it. You don't like it, get away from it. Pretty much. That's why Jordan's right, and that's I tweeted out months ago too. Like, just everything is something for everyone.
Just the little flight of Godzilla movies.
Yeah. It's 100%. That's a perfect way to end the podcast right there. If you want to get into Godzilla, there's a perfect flight of Godzilla films from each genre because they're each different. Right. It's ever evolving.
A lot of franchises don't do that either.
Let's wrap it up, guys. Damn, this is running.
Yeah, let's not do that. We can just not do the corner. Let's just fucking end it.
Yeah, no, I wasn't going to do the corner. I was just going to end it because we're running really late. But goddamn, we're going to have to start doing 2-hour podcasts or something.
This isn't our longest podcast was last week, I believe. No, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, last week was you for 26 minutes.
Yeah, you did the longest podcast by yourself,
You see me just stand on the screen for 2 hours. One frame.
Bryan, my My Puerto Rican Reggie Watts. Where can they find you?
They can find me at Twitch at BryanBrowny and Twitter at BryanRchia.
Tay, where can they find you at?
Twitter.com/Tay Infinite. They got it right?
Yeah.
All the socials in bio.
Tay fucking hates doing the social media.
In the links.
It's so funny.
I hate that. Yeah.
Guys, if you want to follow me, I stream on Twitch Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, Saturday.
God damn.
And by the way, before we wrap up,
no, not Monday.
Before I wrap up, no one wants these.
What is that?
Ghost in the Shell live action with Scarlett Johansson, Ghost in the Shell 4K, the original 1995.
Are you kidding me? I'll fucking take him.
No one wants his.
I'll fucking take him.
Yeah,
it's for the fans.
I'll take that. Take that.
Which one you
movie.
want? I'm talking about digital copies, by the way.
I'll take them. Send me the. I'll take the. Give me the live action one. Yeah, because I got a copy of.
That's actually a pretty good movie, by the way.
What?
What'd you say, Crockett?
What he said?
No, look, hang on. Let me just end this shit, guys. Let me end this.
No, you want these movies, fans? Like, subscribe. You get one.
Oh, that's what you're saying.
Oh, you're gonna give out the code. Okay, yeah.
I made a video of it, but no one responded. So I was telling
guys,
people
we're giving away the code for the live action Scarlett Johansson Ghost in the Shell and the 1995 4K film.
I thought we were just fucking offering.
So if you want to enter to win into these,
you can
sub to the channel. And then when are you gonna give the winners their codes?
I give it like I said, a week. I'm gonna go do the first probably 10 new subscribers if you get 20. Okay. If not 10, I'm select someone.
Cool.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Guys, if you want to follow me, you can follow me at cyber_calamity at Twitter. And if you want to follow me on Twitch, you can follow me just at cybercalamity. But guys, thank you so much for coming down to episode 42. We do appreciate it. We're gonna set off this ship. We're gonna burn it down. Because we got to look out for that fucking Kraken, baby. It's coming. King. And guys, catch up for next week because we're gonna be continuing more of the same, and we're gonna explore more into what makes all the things that Godzilla has spawned pretty much. Perfect. But thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.